You are now listening to the Tom Squared Podcast.
Hey folks, welcome to the T Squared Tech Talk Podcast. That is a mouthful. I am one of your overly caffeinated hosts, Tom Jellick, and I am joined with
Tom Craig.
Tom, it's so nice to see you again.
Likewise. Thanks for having me here this morning, Tom, and happy to kick this off with you.
There are a lot of Toms in this room.
I tell you, nothing but.
You know what Thomas actually means in the Bible? The name means twin, Tom.
Yeah.
Well, so there could be two of us. There could actually be four of us in this room if the name means twin. Think about it.
It's boggling my mind already.
If you do the math, it gets scary. And we're not math wizards, are we, Tom?
No, that is not our strong point. Well, at least unless you're talking binary, then I'd
We got that. The zeros and ones, we're all about the geekdom with that.
I can take it up to 256, and beyond that, you've got me.
That's awesome. So, hey, folks, we are so glad you tuned in today, and this is our inaugural podcast.
First one,
and we're super duper excited about it. I've had about 16 cups of coffee this morning. Tom?
I up at 5:30, just ready to kick this thing off.
5:30 in the AMs?
Well, yesterday evening, I just didn't sleep all night.
Got it. It happens. It's part of our line of work.
It's, we got to be there when they aren't.
Yeah, exactly. So a little bit about us. Tom, introduce yourself for us.
Well, I am Tom Craig. I am with a company called Advanced System Solutions. We are a computer consulting company.
Okay. Yeah. And I am Tom Jellick. I own On Target Digital Marketing here in sunny Orlando, Florida. We help small to medium-sized businesses grow their online footprint.
And that you do.
Well,
and do it well.
Well, thank you, sir. And, the interesting thing about us, Tom and I, or I and Tom, however you want to say it, is that we both have a bit of a tech background. I actually opened On Target because of my tech geekiness background. So I kind of bring a hybrid of tech plus marketing savvy. And Tom, you've been all up in tech since Jesus was a baby, if we're being honest.
I bring no marketing savvy whatsoever to the table. However, when it does come to technology, I remember the first iteration of the Microsoft products, and feels like yesterday.
It does. It feels like the very first time, doesn't it?
Yep. When you look at all the problems we're still having with it, it absolutely does.
The blue screen of death.
Yep. The spinning wheel of death now, as they've graduated to.
Love it.
Yep. The best I heard was the floating golf balls of death recently was what somebody referred to.
That's nice.
It puts a nice, it makes you feel good about it.
Well, Tom, I used to be a PC guy.
Yeah.
And then the conversion happened.
Yeah. Wised up, huh?
In fact, if you look at the machine we're working with right now, it's a shiny iMac. And I'll tell you what, they are not without their own hassles and aggravation. So, do I ever regret making the switch? Absolutely not. But I also know that there are some fans out there of the PC, yourself probably included, right?
And you know what? As I've always said, the PC has paid my bills for years. If it weren't for those problems, I wouldn't have been needed.
That's valid. So it's paying the paychecks. It's helping you. Your hobby is jet skiing, is it not?
It is. I try to get out there. I'm, not quite as good at it as some of the other people out there on the water, but hey, having fun is all it's about.
I think having fun is all it's about. And do you have an onboard PC on the Wave Runner?
That is
jet ski?
That's where we wised up. We took all computers out of the jet skis to make sure that we had no problems.
And it works like a champ.
No problem.
You probably don't have to reboot that sucker either, do you?
Not once ever.
Excellent. So, listen, let's get down to business. Give me a little bit more about your background, how you got into this space, and why you love what you do.
Sure. Well, I fell into computers. My mother actually drove me that way, and so I should have seen it coming. But I started Universal Studios in a computer room back long before the Microsoft products came out, when a computer took up the whole room.
Oh, so, like a mainframe?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have punch cards, those little holes in them, or no?
Yeah. That was just after we had the magnetic tape I had to load in the evenings, and an awful lot of fun looking back then. But that's when I started. So that was back in 1990. And it's just been a joyride ever since. On to Cirque du Soleil from there.
Oh, cool.
From Universal Studios. So, as I've said, you'll never have a bad day if you can go jump on a trapeze or a trampoline.
That's got to be a lot of fun.
It was like nothing else I've ever experienced.
And I'm sure the insurance waivers on that is probably pretty exponential.
Can't even imagine. And it's amazing to see how it's changed since the late 90s through now with the onslaught of litigation.
Sure. Yes. The lawyers that need to be fed.
Absolutely. So paperwork has certainly grown.
Yeah. Well, thank God we have computers to handle a lot of that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank God they have people like us to make sure that those computers are up and running when people need them.
Yes. And so how did you get from Universal into Advanced Systems Solutions?
Ended up in Washington, D.C. after Cirque du Soleil. Went up, that's where I'm from.
Okay.
Hail from Arlington, Virginia, just across the river. But went back to Washington. That is a technology hub there. And wanted to get into computer consulting. So that started about 10 years ago and have handled about 500 organizations since then.
500?
500. Did the math last night, couldn't believe it, did it again, and yeah, it's right at 500.
So maybe we do have an inclination for math, Tom.
It took me quite a long time, and a calculator was involved.
I can't live without the damn calculator. I'm not going to lie.
I'm going to say that app is awfully friendly on my phone.
Mine too. Okay. So you're in Washington, D.C.
Yep. And started consulting up there for everybody from the Democrats to Republicans to Al Jazeera to country clubs and everywhere in between.
Wow. Yep. That's quite a hodgepodge.
It was. We said if we just had the Green Party, we would have had the entire political spectrum covered.
Wow.
Yep. So yeah, that was the start of it. But then I realized I was where it still snowed. And that's a business
that's
for
not
me.
cool.
For a jet skier, that's not a good environment.
It's not. A little frigid.
Yes. So that's what brought me here to Orlando and kicked off our organization about 4 years ago, and met you shortly thereafter, and quite happy with what we've grown into here.
I know, it's pretty awesome.
It is good time.
Tom and I had this idea a couple weeks ago. We started fleshing it out that we want to be a resource for the consumer and break a lot of this tech stuff down into non-geek speak. And that's really our objective with this podcast.
Absolutely. To deliver value and on topics that are relevant to people.
Yes. Relevance.
Love being helpful to people because, when you look at the directions for technology, 1 through 5 never covers all the steps needed.
It never does.
No, there's always something else, and you just have to know that. So being the people that you can call on for that makes us feel really good. Absolutely.
I love to give back. I mean, I've been really blessed to be the tech geek on some local television channels. And it's gratifying to me to help people understand, really how to keep themselves safe with all this tech, how to install apps, how to watch out for their family. That's really gratifying to me.
It's difficult enough to get the technology to work, but to know how to keep yourself safe and the best practices when using that technology, that's a whole different ballgame. Yeah,
and we know this stuff changes every day, which is never a dull moment for me. It's never a dull moment for you. So, and our mission is to stay on top of all this stuff constantly. And I don't know about you, Tom, but I spend the majority of my day reading and just learning new stuff, learning new marketing techniques, learning new how tech and marketing work together.
Absolutely. And that's the big challenge in technology is how do you stay up on the latest trends? What is it that we read and what do we reference when we want to know what the latest things are?
YouTube, Tom, that's where it's at.
I keep trying to remember that, but that's a secret. We'll keep that between us.
I am always going to YouTube typing in, how in the heck do I do X? Listen, let's jump into our topic today. What the heck are we talking about today, Tom?
Wireless security.
Wireless security. It's vacation time for a lot of Americans across the good old U.S. of A.
Time to travel.
It's time to travel, and if you've got kids, you are no doubt going to be toting along some tablets, some smartphones, maybe a laptop or two to keep them occupied, and let's face it, to keep you occupied.
And again, the last thing on people's mind when they're toting along the kids and all these electronics isn't how do we keep them secure? It's where are they?
Where the heck are they? Yeah. So do you have that app on your phone where you can track down your wife?
I don't. She keeps disabling it.
Smart lady.
I've got to get around that.
Yeah, my wife can track where I'm at any given moment. Are you at the Wawa?
Yeah.
Or in my case, the ABC liquor store. She's caught me there from time to time. But anyway, I digress. So as you're going on vacation, you've got these devices. You're, like you mentioned, Tom, you may not be tuned into, oh my goodness, am I exploiting my entire life by checking into my bank account on the airport Wi-Fi?
Exactly. And even then, is it actually the airport Wi-Fi that you've gotten onto?
Amen. And you know as well as I do that when you're getting antsy and you got a crappy signal, there's thousands of people in that airport all trying to hit their carrier at the same time, and you'll start to watch that signal degrade, right? So,
But when there's that one strong signal that says airport Wi-Fi,
right, it seems legit. It's
Yeah.
got the word airport in front of it.
and it doesn't require a password, so it's easy to connect.
Easy peasy, Tom.
I tell you.
So beware. That could be a wolf in sheep's clothing. Am I right?
Absolutely. You know, there's so many sniffers that people can plug into their
Sniffers.
laptop.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I like that word.
Yeah. Well, we've got to come up with fun terminology. Otherwise, this stuff just isn't going to be exciting, Tom.
Right. It could be a snooze fest, Tom.
It usually is, but
Not today, damn it.
That's right.
Not in our house.
But with these tools, people are able to see others that are looking for a wireless connection. And what they do is they say, hey, we're here, we're available, and allow you a connection. In fact, sometimes my favorite one is that you connect at home, and let's just say you connect to home wireless.
Right.
Now you go to the airport, and these tools will say, yes, I'm home wireless, and now your phone is going to automatically connect to that wireless signal.
Oh, that's evil.
Yeah, thinking that it's already a trusted connection. And because you approved that connection when you first established it, it won't ask you for any permissions, and now they have full access to your device.
Well, and that is really frightening. And I'm really glad you said that. I wasn't even aware of that. Like, so these crooks go out and look for probably the most common name for a Wi-Fi network, right? Yes. Like mine at home is Penny Don't Touch My Wi-Fi because I'm a huge fan of, God, what the heck is that show? So huge of a fan that I can't remember the title of it. Big Bang Theory.
Absolutely. Knock, knock, Penny, are you there?
Yes. So that's the name of my Wi-Fi. But that's interesting that crooks are actually exploiting commonalities to trick you into connecting to their Wi-Fi.
And it doesn't even have to be common. When your device is looking for that signal from home, it's constantly sending out a header saying, I'm looking for, and it gives the name.
Right.
So that software can now just reply with, "Oh, I'm that name."
Sure.
And yeah, now it's a trusted connection.
Sure, and it looks shiny and it's fast.
And that tool is only $119 on Amazon right now. No law against owning it.
Wow.
That is just scary.
Wow, I'm not going to sleep tonight.
You know what? Until they change the laws of technology, I don't think I'll sleep very well for a long time. The phone will keep ringing.
Hopefully, our 3 listeners today will actually understand that, wow, the world isn't as safe as we think it is when we're on these goofy phones.
You know, you'd like to think that it is, and you'd like to think that after we paid as much as we have for these pieces of technology, that the providers and the manufacturers are looking out for us. But
well, and I think to a certain extent they really do try. But I tell everybody this, especially on the web side, that everything is hackable. Every single thing is hackable. There's nothing that in my head that is not, hacked by a criminal, that cannot be hacked by a criminal.
There is one thing.
Tell me.
That would be an unplugged computer.
Or a tablet or a legal pad with a pencil.
That's right. Absolutely. You turn the wireless off, and then you won't have to worry about anybody accessing your data. That's one way to stay safe.
That's some pretty sound advice there, Tom.
Yep.
But let's look at reality.
Absolutely.
When my kid needs to stream Nickelodeon and watch Dora the Explorer 92 times, we've got a problem.
Or when you need to answer your email and make sure that your child is watching that Nickelodeon so you can answer that email.
Amen.
You want to make sure that everybody is safe and secure on the network.
Daddy needs a little peace and quiet.
Yep.
So what can we do? If you're traveling or you're walking into a public area, I know a lot of people go into Starbucks and think that they're logging into the Starbucks Wi-Fi, and they could be logging, like you mentioned, into some guy across the street. Tom, it blows my mind how many people go access their bank account or even their social media channels because they're putting in a username and password. So what's a person to do?
Well, the one thing is to use your local cellular connection.
Okay.
So use your phone as a hotspot for your tablet or your laptop. That is the most secure connection that you can get. That's much better than plugging into a network that you're unsure of or haven't used before.
Okay. That's great advice.
Because you have to think when people are handing out free Wi-Fi, how much money are they really sinking into the security of that system?
Right.
So, so with that, make sure that you're using your own connection. And when you're not using your home Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth in your car, turn it off.
Turn it off. And that's got to be one of the hardest habits. And I think I shared with you, I was doing a spot on Channel 13 here the other day, and that was one of the dangers is leaving your Bluetooth on. I'm not going to lie, Tom. I am guilty as charged of leaving my Bluetooth on because I go down to my car and I listen to podcasts and it instantly switches over to my car. I'm never mindful that I need to shut that sucker off. So break that down for me a little bit. What's the danger with the Bluetooth?
Well, the danger with the Bluetooth is the same as the wireless in that somebody could have a near field communication with you,
Okay.
and they're going to connect to your device. And now that they've already established a trusted connection with you, you've already approved it, they're going to have access to that data.
Okay.
Similar to when you're looking for a wireless, your Bluetooth is constantly sending out a signal looking for your car, and then it's already established that connection. The software will say, "Hey, I'm your car.
Yeah.
Go ahead and connect.
Yeah.
We're a trusted connection."
Yeah, but I'm not really a car.
Absolutely. I'm that laptop of that person who spent that 119.
Yeah, that guy sitting next to you in that beat up old pickup truck in the parking lot.
Which is just no fair that is still still legal for
Scary.
people to do. You know, there's no laws that are against this. And, you know, it's funny. I went to a seminar that I gave 3 years ago, and we talked about this. And I noticed at the time, I asked people to take a survey, and I noticed that all but 2 people, so maybe 40 people responded over the IP address that was the free wireless in the hotel. The next year, after giving the speech about wireless, only 4 people out of that same group was using the wireless. Everybody else had connected through their cellular devices.
They learned.
Absolutely. And it's better to learn now than learn the hard way.
Absolutely. So 1 or 2 more quick tips about vacation travel, if that's what you're up to. One of my cautions is this, Tom. A lot of people like to use the, what do you call it? Airbnb. Right, to book a home, or VSBO. Is that another one? Vacation. Anyway, so if you're going out to rent a home, be advised of this. There are crooks in that space too, and there could be cameras lurking around that home that may be watching you. So that's something to be really mindful of if you're not staying in a hotel. The other thing is obviously the Wi-Fi that you're going to find within that rental. You don't know what's going on with that either.
You never know what other devices are on that Wi-Fi.
Right.
You know, maybe somebody in that house has hooked up a keylogger, and everything that you're doing, all the traffic that you're passing through the internet, they're capturing all of that, and they can see everything.
Goodness.
Every password, everything you do. It's scary stuff.
It is scary stuff, but listen, folks, we're not here to scare you. Tom and I don't sleep at night, and that's okay. That's why I drink all the coffee. We just want you to know that you can protect yourself by being really smart about your devices.
Yep. And just knowing when to turn off that Wi-Fi, when to turn off the Bluetooth, and when to turn off a location. It's hard for me when I turn on the GPS to find a new client or a new location that I'm going to. It automatically turns on my location on the phone. So to remember to turn that off when I get there, or soon thereafter, it helps to keep me safe and keep me from advertising that I'm away from my home when I am. Yeah,
you know how many people I see, friends on Facebook that are taking off for vacation and hey, adios Orlando, and they start taking photos and they're having a grand old time in Wichita, Kansas, or wherever the heck they went to. Yep. Meanwhile, some crook is paying very close attention that you're not home anymore.
And even though you might not have posted where that picture was taken from or when it was, there is all of that detail attached to that photo.
That's right. Metadata located within that photo can actually tell a crook where you are.
Boy, you know, just all this fun stuff that we get to do with technology.
Isn't it grand?
I tell you, you know, I bet you they had no idea what they were getting into when they first started developing this.
It's no doubt.
Thank you, Mr. Gates.
Yeah, you're a swell guy. There's no doubt it's changed our lives for the better.
Absolutely.
But you know, just like any other method, there are crooks out there, and we have to be smart consumers.
We lock our front door. We put our valuables in a safe. We have to keep our data safe as well.
That's right. So, Tom, any questions from our? I know we talked about this in the beginning. You had somebody asking you a question about how to keep their iPhone safe.
Absolutely. Well, and with that, it's how do you go about doing that when you're traveling? And with that, what options to turn off? As I stumble over here,
No, it's cool.
but
I slung that one on you. It was Mike from Nebraska. Remember?
I do.
Yeah. So Mike from Nebraska was asking specifically, like, how do I keep my phone safe? And yeah, there's a million things you can do,
Yep.
but we were talking about keeping our phones updated and how important that is.
Absolutely. Because these security updates come out and they are based on flaws that have been discovered. So when something is out there and nefarious people know how to get into your device, make
I love
sure
that
you're
word,
running up things.
nefarious. It's
well,
fun.
It makes me sound like I actually know what I'm talking
You
about.
did a great job on
Yeah?
the delivery on that.
All right.
Yeah.
Strong one. But yes, in addition to making sure that our services are off when we're out in public places, make sure that your phone is updated. Another thing that a lot of people don't realize is that turning off your phone once a week or so will also help to keep it running smoother because it clears out some of the applications that eat up memory. We're not going to get too technical here, but reboots on a phone are just as important as reboots on a computer.
That's some great advice. There's nothing that drives me more nuts as a obsessive compulsive human being to see that, on my iPhone, it'll show the amount of updates I have to do. And I'm not going to lie, there's usually 6 updates daily now on the iPhone. But you're right, man. You got to keep all of those apps safe and secure and understand that if there's an update available, it's probably because there was an exploit. So take the time to download these updates, make sure your phone is up to date. And I love your advice about rebooting those suckers because we forget to do that.
Absolutely, and it does make a difference. I'll hear from somebody saying, "Why is this suddenly not working now?" In mail application or emailing a photo, and reason being, it just needs a reboot.
Amen. So listen, Mike, in Nebraska, we hope that was helpful and sound information for you. And Tom, it's about time that we wrap this up. I think next time, you know what I'd love to chat about if you're down with it?
Let's hear it.
Social media and how to keep yourself safe on social media.
Well, if there's one person I know that can help us with that, it's Tom.
Well, thank you, Tom. But listen, folks, it's been a real pleasure. Tom, it's always a pleasure to spend some quality time with you.
Likewise.
We thank you so much for listening to the Tom Squared Tech Podcast.
We'll see you next time.
Take care now.
This podcast was recorded at the On Target Podcasting Studio.